home for good. What happened, in you guys' life at that point with your stepfather?
Well, John was always well, not sick, but he did have a lot of health concerns. Because he had diabetes. There's this thing in diabetes where I mean, I don't really know how to explain it, but if your even if your shoes are too tight, something with the blood vessels or something along those lines, it causes damage or something like that, and he had to get his toes amputated because of that.
Wow.
Because of his diabetic condition, it caused it caused that complication in his foot. So that actually kind of happened a little bit before Naomi was sick, the whole amputation process.
Okay.
But over time, especially after Naomi got sick, he started getting a little worse and worse. And soon after Naomi got at the hospital, he was hospitalized.
Wow.
There were a lot of different health complications involved. I know he almost had a heart attack, and and that's actually what brought on the hospitalization, that the ER had to come and take him.
Okay.
It was just it was just kind of like a crazy amount of things happening at once, because we were just celebrating this this great thing that you finally got out the hospital, and then another thing kind of crashed down upon us, and over a few months in the hospital, John wasn't really getting any better. And it's kind of scary to think about it now, but it wasn't like he was going crazy, but he was losing his memory a lot, and he started to lose his memory, but he never forgot us, or like he probably forgot like things of like way back, right? Like things, and it was so hard to believe. Like he would see my face and he would know who I am.
Wow.
And it was just like he was going senile. I mean that's the best thing that I can explain it as, but he wouldn't forget us. And every time because me and Mommy used to travel to the hospital in Easton to see him, and he would always encourage me. Like, there'd be this one moment where he's just looking into my eyes and just being like, in that one moment he's who he always was.
Yeah.
And then soon after he would just go back to like losing it. But it was just it was just really hard when he finally did pass, because
It's okay. Take your time. Give her some tissue.
It was hard because we had already lost our father. I mean, obviously not through death or any other circumstance, but we did lose a father figure, and while they were still very young, I mean, I was still pretty young. I was 9, and at that time John had stepped in, and it hurts me a lot because when John had first come, I wasn't accepting, because I was still in a stage where I was like, why are my parents not together? And I felt like John always felt like I didn't love him. And I mean, before he died, I definitely made sure that he knew I loved him, but I feel like all that time I took his presence for granted. And John loved us more than he was more than a father to us than our own father. And
Thanks. Take your time.
it was just a really hard time. It really after Naomi, and then for John to go, he was really like something that kind of held the family. I mean, I think that's the best way to describe it, and it's still kind of hard to believe, because especially what happened soon after that, with Mommy, it's like it's kind of like a waterfall of events. But the more I think about it, the more I think if John was, if he is looking down on us, he would want us to be strong.
Yeah.
And he would want us to know that he loves us, and that he would want us to keep going, and not to dwell too much on what we've lost, but move forward and look forward to gaining new things.
Dee Dee, how was Mommy during the situation once John passed away?
Well, when she was visiting John at Easton, she was really positive. She's like, he's not gonna go away. He has to live on. But it got closer and closer to when he passed, and she kind of lost hope. but she didn't lose face in front of John. And before John died, I remember Mom telling me he told Mommy that he's going on a journey. Do you have my passage? And Mommy's like, yeah, I have your passage. And I still kill myself over this because before he left, I told John that I might be getting a job at PetSmart, and I just saw his face light up. And it was just really nice. I told him I would come visit him before I go to PetSmart, and I thought, no, I'll visit him next week and tell him all about it, and that's the day that he died. I killed myself over it. But I made sure the week before that I hugged him and I kissed him. And I told him I loved him.
Well, you ladies know that he's definitely looking down on you guys, and you know, and when I went and visited him, and he did talk about you all. He asked about you. Where were you? And so you do know that he loved each and every one of you all. And that's what's important. That he loved your mom and he loved you guys.